everyone, I'm Joshua Orro, the Mustang Prince, and welcome to Mustang Prince Orro Reports. You know, I haven't been on stage for almost 2 months, ever since my friends at Musical Theater Village finished their production of Shrek. But, thankfully, I'm glad that my stage hiatus will be over this fall, so I can rejoin them for Queen's Ball and A Christmas with Scrooge. Also, if you folks recall, during November of last year, I made a countdown video of the top 10 films based on a stage musical, and while it wasn't really easy to put together, the 6 years that I took to organize it was worth it. However, on the topic of films based on stage musicals, over the past 20 months, ever since early 2021, several of my new friends whom I met via Google Meet requested that I look at a classic movie musical from the 1960s, which was put together by the legendary Rodgers and Hammerstein. So, let's get started. Released on March 2nd, 1965, the movie is The Sound of Music. And now, on for the plot of the movie. In 1930s Austria, a young woman named Maria is failing miserably in her attempts to become a nun. When widowed Navy Captain George von Trapp, who runs his household as strictly as he does the ships he sails on, writes to the Abbey asking for a governess that can handle his 7 mischievous children, Maria is given the job. However, the von Trapp children are unhappy and resentful of the governesses that he keeps hiring and have managed to run each of them off one by one. When Maria arrives, she is initially met with the same hostility, but her kindness, understanding, and sense of fun soon draws the children to her and brings some much-needed joy into all their lives, including the captain's. Eventually, he and Maria find themselves falling in love, even though he is already engaged to a baroness named Elsa, and Maria is still a postulant. The romance between them both start questioning the decisions they have made, but suddenly their personal conflicts soon become overshadowed when Austria is about to come under Germany's control, and the captain may soon find himself drafted into the German Navy and forced to fight against his own country. So, what are my thoughts on this movie? Well, to me, this movie is truly a musical masterpiece, and it's also one of my top 10 films based on a stage musical. But to further explain why I love this movie, let's move on to Mustang notes. But first, let's talk a little bit about the show's history. The show was written by Howard Lindsay and Russell Cruz. The original Broadway production opened on November 16, 1959, and won 5 Tony Awards, including Best Musical. Sadly, The Sound of Music was the last musical written by Rodgers and Hammerstein due to Oscar Hammerstein's death from stomach cancer 9 months after the Broadway premiere. Fun fact, the show is actually based on the 1949 memoir of Maria von Trapp, the story of the von Trapp family singers. So, in other words, it's actually based on a true story. And to me, not only does it seem very interesting, but it also seems very difficult to adapt real events into a musical. As for the movie itself, it was produced and directed by Robert Wise, who won the Academy Awards for Best Director and Best Picture for not only The Sound of Music, but also for the 1961 film adaptation of Stephen Sondheim's West Side Story. The film's screenplay was written by Ernest Lehman, who was the first screenwriter to receive the honor of receiving an honorary Academy Award in recognition of his achievements and his influential works for the screen. Filming took place from March to September 1964 in Los Angeles and Salzburg. After the movie's theatrical release, while the critical response was mixed, it became a major commercial success, becoming the #1 box office film after 4 weeks, and the highest grossing movie of 1965. It even managed to surpass Gone with the Wind. Also, The Sound of Music received 5 Academy Awards, including Best Picture and Best Director, 2 Golden Globe Awards for Best Motion Picture and Best Actress, the Directors Guild of America Award for Outstanding Directorial Achievement, and the Writers Guild of America Award for Best Written American Musical. In 1998, the American Film Institute, or AFI, listed The Sound of Music as the 55th greatest American film of all time and the 4th greatest film musical. In 2001, the United States Library of Congress selected the movie for preservation in the National Film Registry, finding it culturally, historically, or authentically significant. Also, in December 2013, a live televised production of the musical was aired twice on NBC, starring Carrie Underwood. And I think I should check it out someday. Maybe I could rent it from Netflix. Plus, like I said during my second season, I believe that The Sound of Music and Footloose were the inspirations for the Little Mermaid prequel, Ariel's Beginning. Now, in my personal experience, The Sound of Music is a classical movie musical, and I've known about it ever since elementary school music classes. And it was one of the very first stage musicals that I've ever seen at Musical Theater Village before I ever joined them in fall 2005, thanks to my former junior high drama teacher, Don Long Doherty, for influencing me to become part of the MTV family. Sadly, I haven't been able to get a decent role in the show for many years due to casting issues, and of course, my parents told me it would be a fat chance before I could ever get a good role that I'd like, since nowadays I'm too old to play Rolf, and I'm still kind of too young to play Uncle Max, and I definitely do not want to play any of those tyrannical, uncouth Nazi soldiers again. Plus, I think the cinematography is really great for its time, and I think the scenery in the Alpine Meadow, the Nonnberg Abbey, and the Von Trapp Villa are really wonderful. Also, I think there are several moments in this movie that have the ability to pull at your heartstrings, while one scene near the end is very frightening and intense in my opinion. Also, I think the songs featured in this movie are absolutely classical. However, some of my favorites include the title song, The Sound of Music, where Maria is singing in the meadows, I Have Confidence, which shows Maria's optimism and determination, 16 Going on 17, which is a love duet sung by Rolf and Liesel, Do Re Mi, which is the song that introduced me to The Sound of Music during elementary school music classes, So Long Farewell, the finale song Climb Every Mountain, and My Favorite Things, which to me is a pretty nice song to listen to whenever you're sad or scared. However, my one nitpick with that song is, well, I don't really understand why folks play it around Christmas time when it's not, in fact, a Christmas song at all. And now let's move on to the cast. Our main character, Maria, is played by the legendary Julie Andrews, best known from Disney's Mary Poppins, the Princess Diary movies, the Shrek sequels, the Despicable Me movies, 2018's Aquaman, and she narrated Disney's Enchanted, which should be getting a sequel on Disney Plus this November. Anyway, I really like Maria for her free spirit, her love of music and the mountains, her youthful enthusiasm and imagination, despite the fact that her lack of discipline has caused some concerns among the other nuns. Also, I like that Maria is kind and patient, and I like that she shares a very sweet bond with the Von Trapp children, while making them play clothes from her drapes, taking them around Salzburg and the surrounding mountains, and teaching them how to sing. Also, I think Julie Andrews does an amazing and marvelous performance. Fun fact, the real Maria has a brief uncredited cameo in this movie as a passerby alongside a few of her children during the I Have Confidence song. And I'm really sad that Maria is no longer with us as of March 28th, 1987, 3 years before I was born. Next is Captain George Ludwig Ritter von Trapp, played by Christopher Plummer, who sadly passed away last year, 6 days after I blogged 9. But aside from that movie, he was also in a couple Don Bluth movies like An American Tail and Rock-a-Doodle, Pixar's Up, a few Christmas movies like Babes in Toyland, The Star, and The Man Who Invented Christmas, and he also narrated the Madeline animated series. Anyway, Captain von Trapp was an officer in the Austro-Hungarian Navy who later became the patriarch of the von Trapp family singers. He was also the most successful Austro-Hungarian submarine commander of World War I, sinking 11 Allied merchant ships and 2 Allied warships. Sadly, after his first wife Agatha died of scarlet fever in 1922, George von Trapp has been raising his children using strict military discipline, but he later gained a change of heart after hearing them sing, thanks to Maria, after he was away on a Viennese trip. Also, as the film progresses, George von Trapp begins to fall in love with Maria, and later, the two become husband and wife in 1927. Also to note, sometime after fleeing from Austria, von Trapp and his family had a contract with an American booking agent and requested fare to America for their first concert tour. On May 30th, 1947, George von Trapp died in Stowe, Vermont from lung cancer due to the diesel and gasoline fumes and poor ventilation among the World War I U-boat crews. Our next character is Mother Abyss, aka Virgilia Lutz, played by Peggy Wood, in her final screen appearance, for which she received an Academy Award nomination and a Golden Globe Award before dying from stroke on March 19, 1978. To me, Mother Virgilia is a kind mother figure to Maria, and I also think she's a wise person to turn to for advice. In fact, she's the one who assigned Maria to Captain George von Trapp due to her concluding that Maria would do a lot better outside the Abbey. Also, later in the film, Virgilia encouraged Maria to return to the von Trapp household by telling her that the love she had for von Trapp was as holy as segregated life. Plus, I also like the part where Virgilia presided over Maria and George's wedding, and when she assisted the von Trapp family in escaping from Austria. Next we come to Uncle Max Detweiler, played by Richard Hayden, whom I remember from Mel Brooks' Young Frankenstein. Fun fact, Max is actually based off Franz Wasner, an Austrian Roman Catholic priest and a musical director and conductor. In my eyes, Max has got to be one of my favorite characters in this movie next to Maria, and I think he's really funny at times. Plus, I like that he became close friends with the von Trapp family while accompanying them on all their concert tours. Plus, the fact that Max has composed several masses and more than 60 songs to text by various poets makes me really impressed. Another character to talk about is Rolf Gruber, played by singer, actor, dancer, and performance teacher Daniel Truheit, who joined the Marine Corps after filming this movie. Anyway, Rolf was an Austrian delivery boy who fell in love with Liesel von Trapp until he betrayed her and her family to serve for Hans Zeller and the Nazi Party. Also to note, I tried auditioning for Rolf at Musical Theater Village several years ago, but I sadly failed due to so many other young men going for that role. And finally, we come to the Von Trapp children. Charmaine Carr as Liesel, Heather Menzies as Louisa, Nicholas Hammond as Frederick, Dwayne Chase as Kurt, Angela Cartwright as Brigitte, Debbie Turner as Marta, and Kim Carath as Gretel. In my opinion, all these kids are very relatable and memorable characters. Plus, all of them have a very certain desire involving their father. For example, Liesel is the eldest and wants her father to see that she's becoming a young woman. Plus, she's in love with Rolf. Frederick wants to be a man like him, but he needs someone to show him how. Brigitte notices almost everything that goes on and wants to get close to her dad. Kurt pretends that he's tough not to show how hurt he is when his dad brushes him aside. Louisa wants to share her feelings with somebody, and Marta and Gretel just want to be loved. Also, I think all the kids who play them have such remarkable singing talents. And now on to my final words. Overall, The Sound of Music truly is a movie musical masterpiece. The cinematography is fantastic for the time. The songs by Rodgers and Hammerstein are classical. The characters are unforgettable and memorable. The acting is amazing, and the story is very touching and heartwarming, with a very intense and emotional ending. Also, while I am excited to see my friends at Musical Theater Village perform this show this coming Sunday, I say that this 1965 movie is one of many that is a must-watch for all people who love stage musicals. And someday, if Musical Theater Village is willing to do Sound of Music again, I should try again to get a good role. And I should also give the 2013 live version a watch someday. As for my rating, I'll give The Sound of Music a full 100%. Well, that's all for now. Be sure to join me for my next episode, where we set sail on the Caribbean seas to look at Disney's first PG-13 movie, Mustang Power.